From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for the debate.
On the show tonight, the Bangladesh border conspiracy. We question why the Bengal government is not keen on fencing in the border. At 8:30 p.m. tonight, the big infiltration threat that has been given by the Home Minister and Assam Chief Minister, and why it is time to act on it. At 9 p.m, Niranjan and Abhishek debate how 76 lakh rupees was given for Minister Azharuddin's Telangana house repair work. At 9:30 this evening, the raging debate over passenger safety and how there are massive contradictions. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. India's border fencing program is neither new nor selective. It's a long-standing national security measure aimed at preventing infiltration, smuggling, as well as cross-border crime. And the data on this is absolutely unambiguous. Now, according to the information placed before the Lok Sabha by the Ministry of Home Affairs, India has physically fenced over 93% of the India-Pakistan international border. Of the total 2,289 kilometers, fencing has been completed along 2,135 kilometers, covering 93% of the border. On the eastern front, nearly 79% of the Indo-Bangladesh border has also been fenced. The work has been carried out across multiple states and under different state governments, cutting across political lines. Border fencing, therefore, is a national policy, not a state-specific or politically driven initiative. This makes developments in West Bengal particularly significant. The Calcutta High Court directed the West Bengal government to hand over land already acquired for border fencing to the Border Security Force by 31st of March. The court was hearing a public interest litigation that highlighted a rise in infiltration in unfenced areas along the Indo-Bangladesh border. Now, the state government's position before the court has been that fencing work has been delayed because local residents are unwilling to part with their land. Now, Republic's ground reporting from border districts, however, presents a very different picture. Residents and farmers in areas such as Jaudanga as well as Jodhpur, Moza say land measurements were conducted years ago. Crops were damaged during surveys, but the land was never formally acquired. As a result, fencing has not progressed. Locals say they continue to face theft of crops and movement across the border at night due to the absence of fencing. Several residents have stated on record that they are willing to give their land if the acquisition process is completed, a compensation is paid, citing national security and personal safety as their priorities. Now, fencing already completed along most of India's borders with Pakistan and Bangladesh. The question is that now that arises is absolutely straightforward. If border fencing is being implemented across other border states, why has the process been stalled in West Bengal? The Trinamool Congress maintains that the responsibility lies with the Union Home Ministry and the BSF. The BJP alleges deliberate delay by the state government. What is now on record is a court directive, parliamentary data, and testimonies from residents living along the border. At this stage, the issue moves beyond political statements. It concerns border management, infiltration risks, and compliance with the judicial border. And with the High Court's deadline in place, the focus now shifts to whether the state government will act within the time frame that has been laid down by the court. Ladies and gentlemen, this question is not about one particular state. It is about our national security. It is about national policy.
Amid dense forests with national security threat looming over, large stretches of the Indo-Bangladesh border in West Bengal remains unfenced. A conduit for illegal infiltration, smuggling of drugs, fake currency, cattle and gold. A demographic bomb ticking, waiting to explode. But Mamata Banerjee government continues to sit on the land, obstructing the fencing process.
মালদার ভারত বাংলাদেশ সীমান্ত হবিবপুর ব্লকের এই তিলাসনের যোধ কবির এলাকা, এই এলাকায় এখনো পর্যন্ত অধিকাংশ এলাকাতেই কাঁটাতার নেই। যেমন আমরা বিএসএফ সূত্রে জানতে পারছি, মালদার যে ভারত বাংলাদেশ সীমান্ত 172 কিলোমিটার, এই 72 কিলোমিটার সীমান্তের মধ্যে নদী, পাশাপাশি নদীর জলপথ এবং পাশাপাশি হচ্ছে সীমান্তবর্তী অর্থাৎ স্থলপথ, সব মিলে প্রায় এখনো পর্যন্ত 38 কিলোমিটার এলাকায় কাঁটাতার নেই। এবং এখানে যেটা সব থেকে বড় যে সমস্যা, রীতিমতো যারা কৃষকদের জমি রীতিমতো তারা সরকারকে দেওয়ার জন্য তারা প্রস্তুত, দেশের সুরক্ষার জন্য কৃষকরা জমি দিতে চাচ্ছে, কিন্তু এখনো পর্যন্ত কৃষকদের যেটা অভিযোগ যে প্রায় 2 বছর হতে চললো মাপজোক করা হচ্ছে কিন্তু কৃষকদের কাছ থেকে জমি নিচ্ছে না।
BJP says Mamata government is not ready to hand over land to shield infiltrators.
कोई राज्य सरकार ऐसी हो सकती है जो घुसपैठियों की पनाहगाह अपने राज्य को बना दे? राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा पर कितना बड़ा खतरा है, इसका जवाब बंगाल की मुख्यमंत्री ने बंगाल के चुनाव में दे।
Republic Bangla is at the India-Bangladesh border. They have a different version. Locals say measurements now done. The land lays barren as West Bengal government does not seem willing to move with the accusation.
এই দুটো মৌজা এখনো ফেন্সিংটা দেওয়া যায়নি কেন? এটা কি শুধুই বাসিন্দারা চাইছে না তার জন্য, নাকি এটা কোথাও চাপিয়ে দেওয়া হচ্ছে যে বাসিন্দারা চাইছে না?
বাসিন্দারা 200 ভাগ চাচ্ছে যে যত দ্রুত ফেন্সিং এর কাজটা সম্পন্ন হয়। কি কারণে আটকে আছে আমার ধারণা মতো বললে তো হবে না। ঘটনা হচ্ছে, আমি বলবো প্রথমত জমি অধিগ্রহণের অনিচ্ছা আমরা বুঝতে পেরেছি রাজ্য সরকারের পক্ষ থেকে। দীর্ঘদিন পড়ে আছে জমি অনিচ্ছা, আমরা প্রত্যেককে জমি দিতে চাই। বিজেপির ক্ষেত্রে জমি দেবে না এমন বিজয়পুর বা এই 2 মৌজাতে অবস্থিত যত জমির মালিক আছে প্রত্যেকেই মানে আগ্রহে জমি দিতে চাই।
Locals say they are fighting against Mamata government to get the fencing done.
এই দুটো মৌজা এখনো ফেন্সিংটা দেওয়া যায়নি কেন? এটা কি শুধুই বাসিন্দারা চাইছে না তার জন্য, নাকি এটা কোথাও চাপিয়ে দেওয়া হচ্ছে যে বাসিন্দারা চাইছে না?
বাসিন্দারা 200 ভাগ চাচ্ছে যে যত দ্রুত ফেন্সিং এর কাজটা সম্পন্ন হয়। কি কারণে আটকে আছে আমার ধারণা মতো বললে তো হবে না। ঘটনা হচ্ছে, আমি বলবো প্রথমত জমি অধিগ্রহণের অনিচ্ছা আমরা বুঝতে পেরেছি রাজ্য সরকারের পক্ষ থেকে। দীর্ঘদিন পড়ে আছে জমি অনিচ্ছা, আমরা প্রত্যেককে জমি দিতে চাই। বিজেপির ক্ষেত্রে জমি দেবে না এমন বিজয়পুর বা এই 2 মৌজাতে অবস্থিত যত জমির মালিক আছে প্রত্যেকেই মানে আগ্রহে জমি দিতে চাই। কিন্তু
Farmers in the region echo similar concerns. Speaking to Republic, they highlight atrocities committed by Bangladeshis across the border illegally.
কি চাচ্ছেন?
আমরা চাচ্ছি যে দেশের সুরক্ষার জন্য জমি দিতে আমরা সকলেই প্রস্তুত, কারণ বাংলাদেশিরা এসে আমাদের জমি জায়গায় যে অত্যাচার রাত্রেবেলা করে, ধান কেটে নিয়ে যায়, আরও অন্যান্য ফসল শাকসবজি যেটা করি আমরা বর্ডার সাইডে সেটাও উঠিয়ে নিয়ে যায় ওরা, কিন্তু তার কাটা বেড়াটা হয়ে গেলে আমাদের সুরক্ষা হয়ে যাবে। আমরা চাচ্ছি প্রস্তুত।
Farmers say for them the safety of the nation comes first. The demand is clear: fencing on the border.
এলাকার নাম হচ্ছে যোধকবি মজা পড়ে। এটা আমার তো যোধকবিতে পারে না, সিংহাবাদে পারে। আমার কিছুটা তার বাড়ার ভিতরে জমি পড়েছে, মাপজোক করেছে কিন্তু নিয়ে যাচ্ছে না। মাপজোক করে সব কিছু কাগজপত্র নিয়ে গেছে, কারণ হচ্ছে তার বাড়াটা হতে গেলে আমরা সুরক্ষিত থাকবো। আমরা তো সরকারকে জমি দিতে রাজি আছি, ন্যায্য দাম পেতে হলে দিতে আমাদের অসুবিধা নেই। হ্যাঁ, দেশের সুরক্ষার জন্য আমরা কৃষকরা সবাই জমি দিতে প্রস্তুত। আমরা চাইছি যে জমিটা নিয়ে নেই। কাটাটা না থাকতে সমস্যা বলতে কি, ধান চালের অবস্থা খারাপ হচ্ছে, মাঝে মধ্যে মাপতে আসছে তখনকার ধানের ক্ষতি করে দিয়েছে। ওদের কথা, ওরাও অত্যাচার করে না।
At the center of this problem lies the delay tactics deployed by Mamata Banerjee government not to acquire land meant for fencing. Farmers highlight the government continues to postpone taking measurements, thus delaying the acquisition.
তাহলে আমরা দিতে প্রস্তুত আছি। বারবার করে আসছে, মাপজোক করছে, এই সেই হচ্ছে, জমি নিচ্ছে না, আজকাল করে চলেই যাচ্ছে সময়। আমাদের জমি টমির ফসল হয়তো বাংলাদেশ থেকে আসে, অনেক সময় কেটে মেরে নিয়ে যায়, আমরা ধান মেরে রাজ করে রেখে দিয়ে আসি, সে ধানগুলো নিয়ে পালিয়ে যায়। আমার মোটামুটি 1.5 বিঘা মতো। চাচ্ছি কাটাতার হোক, আমাদের জমির পরিবর্তে আমরা জমি অন্য জায়গায় কিনবো, সরকার ন্যায্য পয়সা দিলে কেন দেবো? দেশের সুরক্ষার জন্য আমরা এটুকু করবো না, কি করবো? কাটাতার ওদেরই গাফিলতি, ওরা বারবার আসছে, মেপে যাচ্ছে, করছে, বলছে এই হয়ে যাবে।
But the court's message to Mamata government is clear. Hand over land to border security forces. No delay in matters of national security will be tolerated.
The High Court has come down heavily on the government, Mamata Banerjee's government, saying that this delay is unacceptable and also directed them to procure land and complete the process as soon as possible.
हाल ही में कोलकाता उच्च न्यायालय ने पश्चिम बंगाल सरकार को एक कड़ा निर्देश दिया कि सीमा सुरक्षा बल बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी फोर्स के द्वारा भारत बांग्लादेश सीमा पर, जिसमें तकरीबन 9 जिले पश्चिम बंगाल के आते हैं, वहां फेंसिंग के काम के लिए जो भूमि आवंटन की प्रक्रिया थी वो तत्काल करके 31 मार्च 2026 तक सूचित की जाए।
The TMC though remains defiant, saying it is Home Minister Amit Shah and BSF who are responsible for the fencing.
স্বরাষ্ট্রমন্ত্রী অমিত শাহজি ইনি নিজে বিএসএফ এর মালিক হয়ে, বিএসএফ এর নিয়ন্ত্রক হয়ে কিভাবে অনুপ্রবেশ করতে হচ্ছে বাংলায়, তার উত্তর তো ওনাকে দিতে হবে। নিজেরা অনুপ্রবেশ করিয়ে বাংলার মুখ্যমন্ত্রীকে ভারতবর্ষের রাজনৈতিক মানচিত্রে মেলাইন করার যে চক্রান্ত ওনারা করতে চাইছেন, বাংলার মানুষ 26-এ তার মুখে ঝামা বসে এটার প্রমাণ করবে।
But with the court's order now coming in, Mamata government can no longer continue to put national security on the backseat.
Tausif, when the other states have already been able to do this, perhaps hand over for the border fencing, why is it that the government of West Bengal does not see this as a national security issue, and by simply saying that this is a matter that should be handled by the Union Home Ministry, today the court has very clearly stated that you need to hand over the land immediately?
You see, this is not a question of whether how government of West Bengal looks at this Indo-border issue. It is the BJP who sees this as a political opportunity. It is not West Bengal alone who shares border with Bangladesh. There are so many other states, 6 states, and allow me to name them.
I just put out data for you just at the beginning of this debate by showing why it is West Bengal the only state that is basically lagging behind when it comes to border fencing. Do not bring in local issues here by saying that, listen, we cannot hand over the land because there is SIR that is basically underway. How is that even linked?
I'm not even going into the defense of why the land cannot be handed over. It's a procedure that has to be followed. But the duty does not lie with the state government. The duty to seal the border is with the BSF. If there is no border fencing in Bengal, then there is no.
You heard the testimonies. Now, Tausif, the thing is that Tausif, there is a responsibility of the state government too. The unwillingness that the state government has essentially shown here. Now, you've heard all the testimonies. Now, you can't possibly say that we have faked the testimonies here. Each of these testimonies basically indicates towards a pattern. The pattern essentially being that the process has not been completed, the acquisition process has been completely undermined. This has been perhaps even highlighted by the High Court.
Now, yes, there's no denial that High Court has the matter has gone to the High Court. High Court has made an observation. But kindly bear with me and kindly give me uninterrupted 1 minute. You see, Assam has 856 kilometers of border. Mizoram has 443. Meghalaya has even 2,217 kilometers. The total the 4,096 kilometer of border shared by so many states, not West Bengal alone. And let me give you an example from Assam, government of Assam website, Border Protection and Development. They have admitted that only 201 kilometer of border has physical barrier. Balance 61 kilometer does not have any kind of barrier. They are working on it.
And what
So
about the
while
data?
Assam government says
You
they are
rattled
working
out
on it,
you rattled out every other.
First of all, the responsibility is not with the state government; it is the border security force.
Priyanka, now
Reporting to Amit Shah.
Now, very conveniently, I'll give you the time here, Tausif.
Right.
Why don't you also look at, since you rattled out the data as far as the other states are concerned? Fair enough. I'm not saying there is a complete fencing that has been done. You also do a straight comparison between the other states versus West Bengal, and then you come back and tell me that is it really fair? Is it really fair, the comparison that you're basically drawing up, and why it is factually incorrect when you say that how the state government has also been dragging its feet when it comes to the land acquisition process? I'll help you. I have the data. If you can't find it, I will help you, but I'll give you a couple of minutes till the time Priyanka responds to what you are saying.
Hi, very good evening. So it is not that he is not aware of the data. He knows everything, but somehow he has to shout and scream and say that everything is correct with the TMC government. So he's placing his points like this. See, whether this is defiance, whether this is complete illiteracy, whether this is non-compliance, or whether this is readiness to compromise with the national security. Now, this is the concern. What TMC is doing here, it is very, very clear that it is ready to sacrifice the national security because of a particular community's vote bank, which in the form of illegal immigrants have entered Bengal, and they want to continue with the process. Today, the malicious, all the fallacious campaign which was being run by the TMC, they have the court has come upon them very strongly when they have said that it is your duty to pay proper compensation, adequate compensation, and to acquire and to proceed with the acquisition. They have been all along, they have been trying to disparage the image of the BSF by saying BSF is responsible, BSF is responsible. Again, I would say whether it is illiteracy or purposeness to do that, they know very well what is their role. Court didn't speak anything about the BSF. Court didn't say anything to the central government. Rather, all questions and fingers were raised at the TMC government, where they have been asked to come by April and show what actions they have been taken, how much land has been acquired. Not just that, they have been asked for their action taken report. That what action are they further going to take in regard to the 600 kilometer which is still pending. Today, Tausif is saying that somebody doesn't have a protection or a doorbell outside someone else's house, so I will also not put a doorbell on my house. Now, is this an explanation?
No.
Of a government, who's the state government here?
Now, just as I mentioned, of course, the border that you are basically talking about, Niladri, I want to bring you in. Purely from the data point of view, it is clear that as far as Bengal is concerned, it is lagging behind. There is no doubt about it. None of us, I think, on this particular panel have a disagreement of the fact that when it comes to Bengal, a large tract is left unattended, which means we have a porous border. Now, Niladri, forget about the petty politics that you want to do or anyone wants to do on this entire issue. The reality is this, that the people of Bengal, which includes you, which includes Tausif, which includes Priyanka, all of them at some point of the time will be affected given the fact that the condition in Bangladesh right now isn't the most conducive. Let's not forget, there is a rise of radicalization. There is a rise of radical elements who have been left free. Lumpen elements in Bangladesh have been left completely free. Niladri, this is no time to play politics.
Shravan, without playing politics, I agree with what you have said. What you have said is absolutely correct. We cannot wash it under the carpet. But taking into consideration the total area left unfenced in the northeastern states and the total area left unfenced in Bengal, it is near about similar. Bengal has 569 kilometers which are to be fenced. Non-fenced area cannot be fenced because of swamp and the marshland and the river is 112 kilometers. Out of the balance, 456, 77 kilometers have already been handed over. 229 kilometers is in the process of acquisition. And 140 kilometers is left. Now, yes, admittedly there is a delay. But why there is a delay? The delay was with regard to the amount of compensation to be received from the central government, number one. Number two, with regard to the state cabinet approval. Now, we all understand that the process of acquisition, there is a rule of law. There is a procedure to be adopted. It takes delay. And Bengal, we all know, Bengal government has a very hands-off policy as far as land acquisition is concerned, because Mamata Banerjee has come to power based on this land acquisition issue. In Assam, as Tausif has said, 61 kilometers. Tripura, it is 67 kilometers. Mizoram, we all know.
So the point here you're drawing. Okay, I got your point.
61 and 600.
Okay, I got your point. Now, okay,
from you, come on. It cannot be fenced.
Okay, so in nutshell, you both are agreeing to the fact that yes, this is an issue. Yes, we need to address the issue. But why just isolate West Bengal here? Why just isolate West Bengal when the situation is similar in the state of Assam, in the state of Mizoram, in the state of Manipur? The question here is, perhaps, Priyanka, you may want to come in. As far as the Union Home Ministry is concerned on this entire issue, they say that this particular matter has been dragged for a very long time simply because of non-compliance. If that is the case, the question that they are asking you, the opposition is asking you, that why is it that you're not perhaps setting an example in other states?
Now, exactly, Shravan, when you said that where 60 kilometers, I mentioned 600 kilometers. Don't you see a difference between 60 to 600? Coming to the second thing of it, the amount of illegal immigrants which are coming to West Bengal. You know, he was talking about Assam and other places. We have seen how the chief ministers there are strictly dealing with the situation, which is completely different in West Bengal. Here the chief minister comes on the streets. Here the chief minister comes on the streets. And she says that
we have also seen the detention camps of Assam.
She doesn't
okay,
want.
Niladri, there is enough time. There is enough time. You can rebut what Priyanka is saying. Let her complete.
Niladri, listen to me. We haven't witnessed any chief minister of any state sitting on the streets and saying we will not let SIR happen. What is the process of SIR going to do? It is going to struck off the name of illegal immigrants. Where is the difficulty in that? From this only you can understand why they do not want to fence the borders. Because there will be a difficulty in this infiltration. And this TMC government, is very reticent on their feelings about this illegal immigrants.
Okay, Tausif, let me take this to Tausif. Tausif, but the chief minister basically makes a comment by saying that till I am here, nobody can throw you out. When she says loves Bangladesh because our language is the same. Let me just remind everyone here that when the fight is about the indigenous people, when the fight is about your own people and not across the border, the question will be asked, whom are you really fighting for? At the end of the day, your own resources are being cut short. At the end of the day, you are losing out on the jobs. At the end of the day, a situation becomes as such when law and order is also out of control. The question here is not about a community that is being targeted. That is nowhere the question. The question here is about those who have come across the border. Should they be given that space?
No, you see, I am in favor, and Mamata Banerjee has repeatedly said that she is in favor of whatever decision the government of India takes so far the foreign policies are concerned. The government of India themselves say that they are inviting all Hindus from Bangladesh and they are offering the citizenship. So what we are objecting is the discrimination, which is because of the Constitution of India, cannot discriminate on the basis of the religion. Now we both,
what
all
are
of us
saying?
know,
What are you saying?
all of us know.
Now he being an advocate, he doesn't
do not
even know
interrupt
what
me.
is
Do not
saying.
interrupt me.
No,
do
I'm
not
not
interrupt me, Priyanka. Let me
so
finish.
Don't just blabber. Don't
The
just
fact
blabber.
that
You are an
you all
advocate and
know
you're
how
supposed to know.
India was
What does
partitioned.
the Amendment Act say?
India was partitioned on majorly into two areas. The Punjab was partitioned, and the Bengalis were partitioned into, just like Germany was partitioned into East and West, the Bengal was partitioned. It was a partition of the Bengali speaking people and the Punjabi speaking people. Now, yes, Bangladesh born out of the help of Indian Army. Bangladesh was born because India gave them that freedom. And Bangladesh so far has been a friendly state country to India. Only under Modi
Oh my
regime,
God, friendly country to
Bangladesh
India
has
by
turned
killing the
Now,
Hindus.
let me just,
Yeah,
okay,
what
let
is
me
it
just
about?
remind you,
Now you can understand.
Tausif, the friendly
Bangladesh
country
has
that you're
turned down
essentially
any-
There,
speaking
we can
about.
understand
Now,
how friendly
it
they are with the
had no
Hindus.
standing.
Can I just quickly remind you, Kaustav Bakshi is also joining us on this broadcast. Kaustav is also joining us.
We have
Tausif, just a quick check here. Let me just remind you. You speak about a friendly nation. Have you heard about this group called the ABT?
I didn't get you. You just come.
Tausif, have you heard about ABT?
I don't know why. I don't know.
No, I'm asking a simple question. See, because you seem to have taken that approach that, look here, we need to be large-hearted here. Okay, now I'm just simply asking you, are you aware of the fact, are you aware of a group called ABT?
No, today we are
I'm asking you a simple question, Tausif. Are you aware of
I'm
ABT
giving an answer.
and the fact that in the past how West Bengal has suffered because of one particular group, a terrorist group that has been operating across the border? Are we supposed to now simply say that open the borders here, let them come here and create a mayhem?
You cannot deny the fact that Bangladesh gained freedom because of India. And Bangladesh has throughout been under the debt of India. And being very cooperative.
Kaustav, we seem to be having some problem with your audio line.
It's only under Modi government that Bangladesh has become an enemy state. And now that they are an enemy state, we will deal with them the way we should deal with any enemy state. There is no denial of it. I am saying that Indian foreign policy, there's a failure of Indian foreign policy under Modi government. If Mr. Modi would have dealt Bangladesh differently, if Mr. Modi would have had a different approach towards foreign policy, maybe we would live in a different time.
I don't know whether Kaustav is there. Kaustav, till that Priyanka.
What is the full form of ABT? He knows it well. What is ABT? He knows it well. But because of his love for Bangladesh, he would not say that it is Ansarullah Bangla team, the terror organization.
In our own interest, we should have good relations with neighboring countries. Perhaps you don't know,
as lovable as Tausif has love for Bangladesh. I am sorry, they do not have that love for the Hindus. That is why Hindus are being killed in Bangladesh. And people like Tausif want to establish friendly relations by saying that, it's no big deal.
What is the logic here? What is the logic here? Now, let me go back to, Priyanka, I want to go back to this point where he said that, the government has this policy of basically minorities there. Hindu minorities are being asked to come to India. What is wrong in it? The question here is that if those minorities are being persecuted there, and you are aware of what is happening, Tausif, day in, day out, reports are essentially emerging from Bangladesh, unless you are basically sympathetic towards Muhammad Yunus, that the reality is this, that the Hindus are being persecuted. In fact, on that you should actually question Priyanka and her government, that their government hasn't done enough for the minorities there. The minorities are not free to come over here. There is a process by which I don't even know whether the minorities would be in a position to come to India right now. The question here is this: is that the logic by saying that illegal infiltrators should be allowed? They should have equal access on our resources. The question is that tomorrow, Tausif, your family members, my family members, Niladri's family members, everyone will be suffering if you start opening up the floodgates and allow illegal infiltrators to take over what is supposed to be yours, what is supposed to be Niladri's.
I completely agree with you, and that is why I want to present you the different perspective. The approach of the BJP government is, as long as you are Hindu, my gates are open, you come, you cross the border legally, illegally, BJP will give you a citizenship.
No,
that is not possible. Tausif, come on. Rhetoric apart. The question here is that the BJP government should also be. I am not saying that the BJP government is correct. Question here, Tausif, the best part here is that Niladri also. Tausif, the point here is that the government has not even done enough. The government has not even done enough for the minorities there. We are not openly saying anything about it. The muted response that the government of India has also had when it comes to the minorities on the other side.
Shravan, let us understand.
You are making a fool out of yourself whenever you are opening your mouth.
Niladri wants to come in.
Let us understand that if the government wants to give the persecuted minorities in Bangladesh a citizenship in the country, there is a law for it. Let us find out how many people have applied for citizenship. in Bengal or in Assam or
Niladri,
any other
again, your
state.
data is not
Wait,
updated.
no, wait.
Don't
Priyanka,
fund
just
Okay, there's a fair
no,
point that
that
Niladri is
every
Priyanka,
day
allow Niladri to make his point. Allow Niladri, because from the data point of view, it is a fact. How many have actually applied for this?
And we have seen a minister of the central government giving citizenship certificates for 800 rupees. We have seen that. Shravan, it is a fact that when NRC happened in Assam, 19 lakh Hindus got excluded. It is also a fact that when SIR is happening in Bengal, it is the Hindus who are getting excluded. And therefore, the BJP is now trying to cover its tracks and find a way out. Admittedly, Bengal has less fenced border, admitted. But what about the area which has been fenced? Is it not the responsibility of the BSF to look into it?
Okay, but do you admit? Okay, I'll ask that question. I will take this to Priyanka. I'll take this to Priyanka. But Niladri, as a conscious citizen of this country, I'm sure you would be equally worried. Forget about this comparison. Of course, it's a fair point that set an example by ensuring that full fencing is done in the other states. But the question here is that when the gap has only widened, and the gap is huge when it comes to West Bengal, then would you not agree that the focus should not be on comparison? The focus should be on what should be the immediate steps to ensure that fencing is actually done at breakneck speed.
Shravan, the focus should be on completion. But having said that, please understand that as per not in other states, in Bengal, BSF has a jurisdiction of 50 kilometers from the border, whereas in other states it has 15 kilometers. Now, if the area is not fenced, it is the responsibility of the BSF to give extra force, depute extra forces there.
Okay, one final word, Priyanka.
Right. So, Shravan, there is a word which we use for, like expressing Shana Pagal. So, actually, they are not mad, but they are trying to act Shana Pagal. They know exactly what has to be done. Niladri, you are my friend. You are understanding what I am trying to say. Come on, Niladri. You are understanding. Niladri, come on. You understand what I am trying to tell you. Now, yes, of course you are trying to be Pagla Shana. Now, what is happening? They exactly know what they are doing. They exactly know that by not acquiring the land, the fencing will not be done. Again and again, Home Ministry is writing letters to them. They are not giving any reply. Now, when the High Court has come down strictly on them, that within such period of time, tell me how much
Niladri, I'm running out of time. So I want to just give the final word to Priyanka here. Priyanka, make your statement.
That is exactly. See, now he's troubling me because he doesn't want that the truth should come out. That is the reason that the High Court has told them that come with your action taken report. What have you done with the funds which came from the central for this fencing? How many area have you fenced? How much area have you acquired? How much of work is complete and how much is incomplete? Now they have to come with that report. Here everything will come from the court itself then. That's what work they have done.
I think the court intervention, the court intervention was certainly required. And I think so we must rise above politics on this entire issue, because this is not about local politics. It is not about the upcoming West Bengal elections and the fight between Trinamool Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party. It is, after all, about the well-being of every citizen in the state of West Bengal. And the fact of the matter is this, that it is about national security. Ladies and gentlemen, this has now become the biggest talking point. I'm going to shift focus to another important issue that has been raised by the Union Home Minister, Amit Shah, who was addressing a rally in Assam ahead of the assembly elections, sharply contrasting India's sovereignty under BJP rule with the threat that has been posed by infiltrators. He claimed that during the Congress's 20-year governance, Assam's demography was being altered as the number of infiltrators rose dramatically to 64 lakh. Dominating 7 districts and enabling vote bank politics. Not just him, but even Assam Chief Minister has basically flagged a demographic change. And here's what they said, and then we debate.
Assam is a polarized society. Next 30 years, we have to practice politics of polarization if you want to live. If you want to surrender, then surrender. But as a Assamese, I don't want to surrender. So I will fight, I will polarize. But polarization is not between Hindu and Muslim. Polarization between Assamese and Bangladeshi. That is the difference. So we don't fight with Assamese Muslim. We only fight with Bangladeshi Muslim.
आसाम में घुसपैठ होना चाहिए क्या? अरे जोर से बोलो, होना चाहिए क्या? एक कांग्रेस पार्टी ने असम को घुसपैठ कर अपनी वोट बैंक की राजनीति से सत्ता प्राप्त करने का घुसपैठियों के माध्यम से एक हथियार बनाया था। मैं बधाई देना चाहता हूं भाजपा सरकार को, असम की और हमारे मुख्यमंत्री को कि ये डेमोग्राफी बदलने का सिलसिला उन्होंने बंद कर दिया। 1,26,000 हेक्टेयर एकड़ भूमि बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठियों से मुक्त कराने का काम ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने।
मौलाना साहब, साफ तरीके से असम के मुख्यमंत्री कहते हैं कि वो मुसलमानों के विरोधी नहीं है, वो सिर्फ ये बात कहते हैं कि बांग्लादेशी मुसलमानों के खिलाफ है। वो सही बात है, क्योंकि अगर आप ये देखें कि असम में जिस तरह से अहोम के लोग ही कम होते जा रहे हैं और बांग्लादेशी मुसलमान बढ़ते जा रहे हैं, तो साफ तरीके से असम के मुख्यमंत्री जो कहते हैं वो सही है। मौलाना साहब, आपकी आवाज मेरे को ठीक से नहीं आ रही है। मौलाना साहब, आपकी आवाज ठीक से नहीं आ रहा है। हम लोग ऑडियो उसको फिक्स करेंगे। आई जस्ट वांट टू ब्रिंग इट। मौलाना साहब, वापस आप जुड़े रहे, हम कोशिश करेंगे आपके ऑडियो को ठीक करने के लिए। Rajat, I want to bring you in. Now, for the longest time, this entire debate, and perhaps in a very surreptitious manner, the Assam Chief Minister never spoke openly about whether he was taking an anti-Muslim position. Today has made it very clear, and in fact, when I last spoke to him in an interview that I had done with him, he very clearly said that, look here, I am not giving you any solution because I can't give a solution. He perhaps was as clear as this. He said that, look here, I can only stall this. It is inevitable, it will happen. As an Assamese, as an Assam Chief Minister, I will only stall this. I want to understand from you the real demographic threat and why we need to go beyond politics on this entire issue. What is the immediate threat that we are looking at?
Well, I have stayed, researched, wrote a book, being in Assam, understood the insecurities that the indigenous Assamese population faces. When I speak to the tribal communities living in Assam, they say that we will, in a few years, be seen in the museum. That is how we are going to lose our identity because of this absolutely unabated population growth happening from one community, which is largely a community which was created by illegal Bangladeshis who migrated for decades and decades, got political shelter, and eventually the indigenous Assamese society has no tools whatsoever left with them to actually go out and claim what is rightfully theirs. That is the real problem. And I don't see, and I agree with Himantoda here, that there is no solution. What can you do today? Today, these illegal migrants over the period of last 50 years have better ways to prove their citizenship. They have all the Aadhars, passports, everything that you can imagine. They have no way now to identify who a bona fide citizen is versus who is an illegal migrant. And that is the real problem. Okay. Now, the other problem is, over the last 2 days, the kind of narrative that is being peddled around by people who have never even visited Assam. Do they even understand what a Mia even means in the colloquial understanding of that part of our country? If you do not know, if you just want to wear your Delhi lenses and those myopic ideas, you will end up trying to draw pejorative sense out of this word. As if the Chief Minister is trying to specifically target one community. Ask Arnab Goswami for that matter. He will tell you what a Mia means. Mia exclusively means Bangladeshi Muslims. It does not refer to the Khilonjia Muslims, which are the indigenous Assamese Muslims who have been living rightfully, and about the true indigenous communities of the state of Assam. This country was partitioned on religious lines. And there will be future. The real fear is that there will be yet another partition of the state of Assam.
you know, for all of us who are from the Northeast, we have essentially seen this happening, unfolding before our eyes. And in fact, from the time that we have grown up in the state of Assam and the neighboring areas, I myself have seen what has essentially changed. मौलाना साहब, आपको वापस मैं ये सवाल करना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि इतने दिन इसके ऊपर सवाल उठाए जा रहे हैं कि देखिए असम के मुख्यमंत्री एक कम्युनिटी के खिलाफ बात कर रहे हैं, जब आज असम के मुख्यमंत्री साफ तरीके से कह रहे हैं कि अगर हम किसी के खिलाफ हैं वो है इलीगल इन्फिल्ट्रेटर्स के खिलाफ है, वो है बांग्लादेशी मुसलमान के खिलाफ, तो इसमें गलत क्या है?
देखिए, मैं तो पहले बार एक बात कहना चाहता हूँ आपके जरिए, आपके इस चैनल के माध्यम के जरिए सारा हिंदुस्तान की जनता को मैं एक बात सुनाना चाहता हूँ। आसाम के सीएम जो कह रहा है जो इलीगली बांग्लादेशी घुसपैठियों के खिलाफ मेरी लड़ाई है, मियाँ को बार बार बांग्लादेशी कह जा रहा है। मैं कहता हूँ एक भी मुसलमान आसाम में बांग्लादेशी नहीं है।
ये आप कैसे कह सकते हैं? मौलाना साहब किस दावे से आप कहते हैं, मौलाना साहब आप किस दावे से कहते हैं कि बांग्लादेशी इलीगल इन्फिल्ट्रेट घुसपैठिए कैसे नहीं है? आप कैसे दावा कर सकते हैं?
मैं आपको सबूत दे रहा हूँ ना,
बताइए।
2016 के इलेक्शन में अमित शाह जी गोले फाड़ के बोल रहा था 16 मई के बाद बांग्लादेशी को टाली टुकड़ा लेकर बांग्लादेश जाना पड़ेगा। उसके बाद 10 साल बीजेपी का सरकार रहा, कितने लाख बांग्लादेशी को हिंदुस्तान से भगाया है। अभी आज अमित शाह जी कह रहे हैं 26 के बाद एक भी बांग्लादेशी नहीं रहेगा। अरे बांग्लादेशी होगा तब भी नहीं जाएंगे ना।
अच्छा, तो इन मौलाना साहब तो कह रहे हैं कि आपकी सरकार ने कुछ किया ही नहीं है। चल, आप क्या कह रहे हैं कि क्योंकि ना मौलाना साहब आप वो फॉरेन ट्राइब्यूनल की बात तो आप कर ही नहीं पा रहे। वो अलग बात है कि देखिए, अलग बात है कि आप इलेक्शन रैली में कुछ कह दे। और मौलाना साहब सुनिए, आप देखिए मौलाना साहब देखिए, हम संविधान से चलते हैं। देखिए मौलाना साहब, हम संविधान से चलते हैं। अगर आज कोई भी कह देता, कोई भी मंत्री ये उठ के ये कह देता कि कल को हम उठा के फेंक देंगे, वो ऐसा तो हो नहीं पाएगा, क्योंकि हम संविधान से चलते हैं, तो हमें कायदे कानून के हिसाब से चलना पड़ता है। तो the accusation here is that what have you really done?
देखिए
सबसे पहले तो शांत रहिए।
मौलाना साहब सुन लीजिए, आपने सवाल उठाया, आपने ये कहा कि आपने हटाया कितने जन को। चलिए मौलाना साहब, आपने स्पष्ट तरीके से यही कहा ना। मौलाना साहब सुन लीजिए मेरी बात, क्योंकि आपने एक पॉइंट देखिए मौलाना साहब सुनिए मेरी बात, सुनिए मेरी बात, इतने उत्तेजित मत होइए। मैं सिर्फ इतना कह रहा हूँ, आपकी सवाल को मैं बीजेपी के प्रवक्ता से पूछता हूँ। Tuhin, the question here is this, that how much has been achieved because of the foreign tribunal's existence?
Shaman, first of all, I got your question. Please make sure that the Maulana does not speak while I am speaking, because I had the courtesy to listen to his gibberish. First of all, he seems to reflect Bangladeshi sensibilities when he says that not a single Muslim in Assam is from Bangladesh. He clearly, is being not only being economical with the truth, he is being extremely mischievous. Yes, we have had limitations, but in fact, if there is one state which has achieved maximum success in combating illegal migration, it is Assam. Assam has invoked the Foreigners Act of 1950, where the DMs
सारे 5 साल तक याद नहीं आते हैं। आप लोग बार-बार संकट में होते हैं, सारे 5 साल बांग्लादेशी के याद नहीं आते हैं। जब निर्वाचन आता है बांग्लादेशी के नाम पर भारतीय नागरिक को आप लोग बार-बार टर्चर कर रहे हो।
अगर आप नहीं कंट्रोल कर पाते हैं,
मौलाना साहब सुन लीजिए मेरी बात। मौलाना साहब देखिए मौलाना साहब, कोई जरूरत नहीं है कि एक के ऊपर चीख के बात करने के लिए। मौलाना साहब सुन लीजिए मेरी बात, तो इनको जवाब देने दे, उसके बाद आप बोल लेना। तो मैं क्या
बोलिए
वेरी क्लियरली। नहीं, इनको शांत कराइए पहले। देखिए, ऐसे वैसे मैं ऐसे ही नहीं डिबेट करता हूं। अगर कर रहा हूं तो कम से कम तहजीब में रहिए। देखिए, if there is one state
तो सरकार किसका है?
बदतमीजी कर रहे हैं
मौलाना साहब ऐसा करके नहीं, मेरे पास समय है। मौलाना साहब सुनिए, कई लोग इंतजार कर रहे हैं, बाकियों को भी बोलने की
आप हमें चुनौती मत दीजिए। मैं आपको बहुत स्पष्ट बोल रहा हूं कि अगर कोई स्टेट मैक्सिमम
चुनौती दे रहा है,
अरे यार बकवास मत
मौलाना साहब, कैन आई गेट द ऑडियो?
This is Republic TV. It needs to have
one minute. मौलाना साहब आपको जवाब देने का मौका दूंगा, 1 मिनट सुन लीजिए, पहले सुन लीजिए।
तो चुनौती आप किसको दे रहे हैं? आपका सरकार
धमकी आपको कोई नहीं दे रहा है मौलाना साहब, धमकी कोई नहीं दे रहा है, आपसे सिर्फ इतना ही दरख्वास्त कर रहा हूं कि आप दूसरों को भी बोलने दीजिए, उसके बाद आप जवाब दीजिए।
देखिए श्रवण, आई डोंट डिबेट दिस वे, आप उनको 1 मिनट के लिए उनका माइक ऑफ कर दीजिए, मैं अपनी बात पूरी कर दूंगा।
Go ahead, make it. I've requested you. Go ahead.
So Assam has invoked the Foreigners Act of 1950, where district magistrates today have the power to, based on the availability of the relevant papers with the accused or with the suspect, they have the powers to decide who is an illegal migrant. This has led to a massive reduction in illegal migration. The surveillance across the border in Assam has been of the highest order. This has led to a decrease. And as you are aware, as Arnab would be aware, the delimitation exercise has allayed the fear of demographic takeover, if not by at least 2 decades. These are remarkable successes. Now, if Maulana wants to challenge us that, why aren't you pushing us all away? Why aren't you throwing all illegal Bangladeshis? जब हमसे पूछा गया तारीख कब बताओगे, हमने करके दिखाया है। राम मंदिर का निर्माण किया, आर्टिकल 370 हटाया। This time, if we are seriously asserting that illegal migrants will be thrown out, they will be thrown out. So don't provoke us. कब करेंगे? हम करके दिखाएंगे। अगर कोई सरकार कर सकती है तो हम करके दिखाएंगे।
I'll take this to Satish. Satish, the question here is about have we done enough to weed out illegal infiltrators? You may ask this question that what has the government really done for the last 10 years if they've been talking about it? Tuhin is answering that. Satish, the question is that if it is about targeting a community, the Chief Minister is very clear. This is not about targeting indigenous Assamese Muslims.
Raman, my straight answer is no. Nothing substantial has been done. It's time to hit at the roots, the source. That is Bangladesh. You see, this is a old-time verbal cacophony. It is not consistent with the track record of the government for last 12 years. In fact, the track record of UPA, that is also abysmal, but it is better in expelling those infiltrators. I am talking about the UPA government. So it's time, I do know, and everybody knows here, that demographic changes, massive infiltration and imbalance, right, is a reality. But it's just a poll talk. My take is something different also. You see, I accuse BJP of over-electionization of the country. Because, everything is done at the stroke of upcoming polls. And after that, they just vanish and they just forget. It's time, you just hit at give a deep cut to Bangladesh. We have a Rashtrabadi government. Ab kab karenge? Why are we not doing it? How long we will keep on blaming the previous Congress government? Stop blaming Congress.
I'll bring
now. It's time for you to act.
Rajat. Let me bring in Rajat and then Tuhin you can respond. Rajat, it's a fair question to basically ask that what have we really achieved, because this has been a dominant talking point for years put together. As someone with boots on the ground, you would be in a much better position to say that why at some times there is a need to go beyond the political rhetoric. Binay is also there. Binay, I'll come to you. But first, Rajat, I'm sorry, Binay. I'm sorry about it. I'll just get a quick comment from Rajat and bring you in, Binay.
See, let's be practical. See, politicians will do their politics, but frankly speaking, we all know, it is common knowledge that lakhs and lakhs of Bangladeshi came in. They had all the paperwork to hoodwink our authorities and claim citizenship. And that is what has happened. That has condensed over time, crystallized over time, and they, by that sheer delay in the processes, they have become bona fide citizens. Now, what do you do? Now the challenge, and I opened this debate, this discussion around the fact that the local indigenous people, which were greater than 90%, have now been brought under 50% in their own state. Now this is where the sense of insecurities is coming in. They are saying we'll end up in museums. So there are political ways in which you can secure their interest, reservation being one. And I believe the indigenous people of Assam should demand reservation which will set an example that nobody from outside can try and infiltrate this country for political reasons, trying to dominate. And we should establish that this assembly, Assam's assembly, has reservation for indigenous representation, proportionate to multitudes of tribes that exist there. Multitudes of, even Khalonjia Muslims should get reservation. I will go to that extent, who are the true indigenous people of Assam. It is not about Hindu-Muslim. It is not about, trying to create schisms between, on the religious ground. It is between one country, which is Bangladesh, which used open borders to its advantage for economic reasons. They inundated the fertile lands of Assam to an extent that you cannot walk around freely in lower Assam. You try doing that, you will feel that it is as if it is Pakistan that you're moving around. That's how horrible the condition in our own country is.
Binay, you have written extensively about infiltrators and the threat that it basically poses. Rajat has made a fantastic point when he basically says that this is not about Hindu Muslims, and unfortunately Maulana Sahab and perhaps even some political parties in Assam would love to make this entire thing about Hindu Musalman. It is not about Hindu Musalman, and I completely agree with Rajat here. Binay, the challenge is insurmountable here, because the reality is that the Chief Minister of Assam is also, at some stage, he's also given up. He's saying that I can't do much, I will only stall this.
Sawan, exactly, this is not a matter of Hindu and Muslim, but this is a matter of Muslims against Muslims. Because these Bangladeshi infiltrators, they are against the Indian Muslims. The Indian Muslims, they are losing their culture, they are losing their jobs, they are losing everything. And the second thing is, Sawan, that it's a political issue. And it must be debated in the political arena. It must be an issue of elections, because there is and there was a politics of infiltration in India. And Congress has started this politics of infiltrations. They thought that these infiltrators coming from Bangladesh, they will be a vote bank for them. After Congress, many parties, they took away the baton. If you take the example of West Bengal, the baton was transferred to CPM. And now the CPM baton was transferred to Trinamool Congress. So this is a political discussion, this is a political issue, but it is an issue related to the national security of this country, and we are losing our culture. And the case is just not for Assam and West Bengal. It is flooded by the Bangladeshi infiltrators, but we can see the backwaters of this infiltration in the neighboring states of Bengal and Assam, even in Delhi. You can feel the heat. Bangladesh is their country. This is our country. This is the country of the Indian Hindus. This is the country of the Indian Muslims. The country which they belong to, they must go back to their country. And the resources we are having over here, it belongs to us. And if anybody says that there are no infiltrators, again you are trying to politicize the issue.
No, but Maulana Sahab is saying that there are no infiltrators. What will you tell Maulana Sahab? Maulana Sahab is saying that दावे लगा के कह रहे बिना कि कोई infiltrate घुसपैठिया है ही नहीं. अगर है तो आपने निकाला क्यों नहीं?
You are trying to देखिए, मैं तो मुझे कहने दीजिए. देखिए, अगर बांग्लादेशी है, बांग्लादेशी को भगाओ, आईनी तौर पर आईनी तरीके से जिस तरह का भगाना है, हम लोग भी साथ देंगे. क्योंकि जब भारतीय नागरिक को बांग्लादेशी के नाम पर
पुलिस तय करे मौलाना साहब,
एक आदमी घर बैठ के 100 आदमी पर फेक ऑब्जेक्शन लगा के इस लोगों को हैरेसमेंट करने का हुक्म
बिल्कुल नहीं.
आप संविधान में
आप साथ आइए, बांग्लादेशियों को मिलकर भगाया जाएगा. संविधानिक, लेकिन इस तरीके से कहना कि दे आर नो बांग्लादेशी,
काम करना और
संवैधानिक करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं.
कहां से आया है? ये कहां से आया है? अगर
बांग्लादेशी पार्टी लेकर के आई है
नहीं है, और जब इलेक्शन आता है
तो मौलाना साहब ऐसा करे, चलिए, बिकॉज मेरे पास समय नहीं. मौलाना साहब ऐसा करते हैं, विनय ने बहुत अच्छा आइडिया दिया है. आप एक काम करें, क्यों ना आप ही कल मुहिम छेड़ दे, आप ही शुरू कर दे काम. श्री गणेश कीजिए, आप कल आप ये कह दे कि जो भी घुसपैठियां हैं उसको आप ही निकालेंगे, क्योंकि आपकी पार्टी या आप ही शुरू कर दीजिए. आप हिमंत के ऊपर क्यों आप छोड़ रहे हैं? आप ही कर लीजिए. मैं तो ये कह रहा हूं, क्योंकि आपने खुद कहा कि भाई अगर है तो हटाइए. आप खुद, मैं मौलाना साहब, मैं आपको दरख्वास्त करता हूं, क्योंकि आप भारतीय क्योंकि आप भारतीय नागरिक हैं, क्योंकि आप भारतीय नागरिक हैं और क्योंकि आप चाहते हैं कि सब सुनिए मौलाना साहब, एक आखिरी, मेरे पास समय नहीं है, बट विनय ने आखिरी मोमेंट पे एक सिक्सर मार दी। विनय, आपने सिक्सर मार दिया इस समय, क्योंकि मौलाना साहब आप चाहेंगे, आप देखिए, आप एक तरह से एग्जाम्पल बन सकते हैं, क्योंकि देखिए आपके लिए आप एग्जाम्पल बन सकते हैं, क्योंकि आप इस देश के एक नागरिक हैं और आप देश की भलाई सोचते हैं। आप ही कल एक मुहिम छेड़ दीजिए कि जितने भी घुसपैठिए हैं उनको आप हटाएंगे। आने वाले दिनों में आप ही मुहिम शुरू करें। थैंक यू वेरी मच gentlemen for joining me on this debate. In fact, this undoubtedly is the burning question, not just in the state of Assam but also in West Bengal. The question over, is it time to remove the infiltrators? Coming up at 9 p.m, my colleague Niranjan and Abhishek.